say to me, you did it. You got in the playoffs. You made it. So you think everything we put in this dang season was just to get in? Yeah, let's buckle up now. I'm not going to talk about how we got here. We came together, grew together, fought together. When you're in a championship fight, you think you win every round? Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. You don't. But I'm proud to stand in the ring with this group of guys every damn week. Do we get the credit we deserve? Who cares? If you're a Birds fan, you know exactly who we are.
Lawrence is passed by Hurts.
Don't get me wrong. Are we perfect? I think y'all know the answer to that. But we fight like hell. What did Coach say? We're nasty? Yeah, we are. That's us. We're nasty. I can dig that. So what you all come here for? You want me to get fired up, right? You want me to tell you why you should be fucking excited? Because it's the freaking playoffs. That's why. Is it the end of the fight? Hell no. Dog mentality, baby.
That's the team.
Next round. Press on.
And that's how we got started off. Go Birds, baby. Dog mentality. And that's what it's all about for that game last night. But welcome back to another episode of Island Boys Football Talk with your boy K Jizzle. None of that Philadelphia Eagles. We going to the NFC Championship game, baby. Right now, C-Money is watching his game right now, deciding whether he's going to make it to the NFC Championship game, if he's going to go home. Of course, Keep It Pon the Street is not his yet. Right now, he can't be in tune with the playoff football because his team is not there. His team is somewhere fishing, but he'll be here shortly. But we'll keep it moving with none other than this right here. NFC East Division champions moving on to the championship game. It's crazy how we dominated the New York Giants. It's crazy. I mean, a lot of us, including me, thought that this game would have been a closer game. I think earlier I said it would have been probably in a show last week. I said it probably would have been a 27-20 victory over the New York Football Giants. I didn't expect this, but I think a lot of us forgot, including me, how good this team can be with the addition of Jalen Hurts and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. A lot of us forgot that. I mean, we forgot the how electric and how dominating this team was playing with Jalen Hurts. I mean, yes, we saw the couple of games with Minshew against the Cowboys in the Saints, and we a lot of us started listening to the narrative of, yeah, any quarterback will play in the system. Any quarterback can play in this system. The only quarterback that can play in the system is Jalen Hurts because he is the system, and we saw that today. We saw how he dominated in the game. I mean, from start to finish, we saw how the offense dominated. We saw how the defense dominated. I mean, we saw how special teams did their thing. I mean, we got to give credit to Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, but you got to give a lot of credit to Jonathan Gannon as well. It's crazy how, I mean, I gave him a lot of heat this season because I didn't see a lot of blitzes. I didn't see a lot of change up in the defense. I didn't see him make adjustments. In this game, he made a whole lot of adjustments. I mean, he has to get a hand clap. You gotta clap hands. You gotta give Jonathan Gannon a hand clap because none of us expected Jonathan Gannon to do this in this game. I mean, he was blitzing, and it was timely blitzes. It wasn't uncharacterized blitzes. It wasn't untimely blitzes. He was blitzing at the right time. I mean, he was playing press man. We didn't see a lot of that in the season. Playing press man, and I guess being that he didn't have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Avante Maddox. We didn't have Avante Maddox this game, but you had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson who could play nickel and who could play safety, who play both positions. I guess being that you have that type of talent, he was able to do a lot more on defense. And you kind of see, yes, we wanted him to blitz a lot more all in the season. We wanted him to change up the defense a lot more all in the season. But the reason why we kind of understand the reason why he wasn't doing it. Because he didn't have a talent to do it. He didn't want to get born deep doing it, which is understandable. But sometimes you would like for him to do it more, sometimes. But in this game, the defense was dominant. And this shows you that the Eagles are head and shoulders above the Minnesota Vikings. Head and shoulders. Head and shoulders above the Minnesota Vikings. Keep It Pon the Street is here. I was just talking to the community of the dominant victory that the Eagles got over the New York Football Giants, and I was saying that
Mhm.
you gotta give. You know, I've been hard on Jonathan Gannon all season, but you gotta give him credit and you gotta give him a hand clap for this game. The defense was dominant, and also you got you also see where the Philadelphia Eagles are head and shoulders over the Minnesota Vikings.
Good point.
Head and shoulders over the Minnesota Vikings, because you saw how the Vikings. I mean, not the Vikings, but the Giants were able to dominate and control the possessions, and drive down the field, control the clock, and do their thing, and win that football game. That wasn't the case against the Eagles. It was a different football game. And like I was saying before, a lot of us forgot how good Jalen Hurts is and how good Jalen Hurts is in this offense. A lot of us forgot how good he is as a player and the MVP type player he was. A lot of us forgot that, because I was thinking that the score would have been 27 to 20. I wasn't expecting this dominant victory, because you was listening to the narrative of, oh, this New York Giants is a good football team. Oh, the last 2 weeks the Eagles haven't been looking good. So it kind of played a part in your head. But at the same time, we forgot how good Jalen Hurts is, what he does for your offense. We also forgot how good Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is, what he does for your defense. It was big
Remember,
differences.
remember, it's one thing that I said earlier in the week on the Tuesday show, and it was if you break down the NFC in tiers, tier
Mm-hmm.
one is strictly Philly, San Fran, and the Dallas that we see now, and the Dallas that we saw against Tampa Bay. That
Right,
Dallas. I can't say every week Dallas. The Dallas that we
right,
saw against Tampa Bay and the Dallas, no. Those three teams are it's tier one. Tier two is you got the Minnesotas, the New Yorks, and those guys.
right,
But the gap between two of them are very, very big.
right.
And
And you can
as
see,
and as good as New York did throughout the season and beating Minnesota, in terms of talent, they are nowhere close to Philly. There's a big gap between them.
big gap, big gap.
Probably the only advantage they have is probably the running back position. You put Saquon probably over Miles Sanders, even though Miles Sanders is effective. But the head and shoulders gap between two of them are just too far off for Dallas to
Mm-hmm.
capitalize. Dallas needed, I'm not Dallas, sorry, the Giants. The Giants needed to get after a fast and efficient start. And by the time I checked the game, it was 14 nothing.
It was 14-0.
Philly, Jalen Hurts
Mm-hmm.
didn't miss a throw. And that was basically it. That's all he needed. The thing
But
with it
yeah,
is, the thing with it is that the team that Philly has put together
it's phenomenal.
goes with the ranks of the Kansas City and the Cincinnati's. So right now you can basically see the top teams in the NFL are Cincy, Kansas City, Philadelphia, and San Fran, and the good Dallas team, not the bad
Right,
one. Those they are head and shoulders above all the others. I would have put Buffalo, but Buffalo has some concerns and flaws that every week kept getting shown. They kept getting
right.
shown, and unfortunately, it led to them losing today. But Kansas City is by far up. Cincinnati is a team that's by far up. Philadelphia is by far that team up. San Fran is by far that team up. And then the good Cowboys, when they decide to play proper football, they are up there too. Those five teams are in a list by themselves. And then you got tier two teams. And the tier two teams, and they're good teams, but they still have a big
A
disadvantage to
big gap.
tier one's
Exactly.
teams. So if anybody thought that that Giants and Philly game would have been close, that means they weren't watching the way the two teams play, because you would see head over shoulders that there's a big gap in terms of talent on
Right.
both teams. Very young head coaches, yeah. You can call a game you can call a game well, but the execution got to be there. But you need players to make those plays, and
Exactly.
Philly has those players to make those plays, and New York is just lacking on the playmaker side.
Right.
So if New York can go into the off season and get some playmakers, then it will be.
They'll
a
be able to
big
compete.
booster, already strong team. But that game just showed you that Philly, if Philly lose in the playoffs, they lost it. No team gonna beat them. They lose it on their
Agreed.
own
Agreed.
because that's the team that you would see. They're a team that should be just steamrolling people with the way the roster is built. And like I said, it starts with the quarterback Jalen Hurts playing at a phenomenal level. He has playmakers, Dodard, he has AJ Brown, he has
Devontae
Devontae
Smith.
Smith, he has Miles Sanders, and then on the defense, you got the line is strong. Darius Slay, Bradbury, Chauncey Gardner is strong. The linebackers are playing good. So it's like you don't know where to pick apart. Remember, there's something that we saw today with Buffalo and Cincinnati, and that's one of the
Cincinnati was a balanced
analysts.
attack.
Yep, two
Mm-hmm.
things that was very very abundant in that game was that Cincinnati was able to run the ball effectively, and it took the weight off of Burrow's shoulders.
Yep.
Fact that Josh Allen couldn't run the ball, you know he had to throw it, and all Cincy do is rush the passer and wait for the throw.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing, and the second thing is like the analysts see. Before Von Miller went down, they were fourth in the league in pressure rate. They always put pressure. Since Von Miller went down, they were 27th
20
in the
something in
league
league.
in
Yeah.
pressure. So when a
Mm-hmm.
team is running the ball effective on you and you do a play action, you're biting on the run, and you can't generate pressure, Joe Burrow got all day to throw the ball. And
Yep.
that's what happened. And the Bills, those flaws came out today, and the Bills executed on them. But the thing with the Eagles, they can do both. They can run the ball with Jalen Hurts, run the ball with Miles Sanders, and they can generate pressure with just four. Sometimes they'll send a blitz, but when you look at Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick, those four could generate pressure on their own. They don't need to send an extra man. So you got all kind of people in coverage and four-man rushing the passer.
Right.
That's a team that can usually win 9 times out of 10 because they don't
Agreed.
have to send the blitz. Difference is, like I said, it was just too much for New York. And like I said, they got a
It
bright
was way
future
too much for
ahead,
New York. Way too
but
much.
it's just way, way, way
Way
too
too
much for
much.
them.
Way too much. And like I said before, you gotta give Shane Steichen, Nick Sirianni, Shane Steichen, the future Carolina Panthers head coach,
But
possibly.
definitely, that is definitely
but
the
uh,
truth.
but you also gotta give Jonathan Gannon credit, man. Those guys came out with an incredible game plan. An incredible game plan from start to finish. There
Those
was no let
guys,
up.
they showed you that.
Then you it was it was KYP, no your personal. You know the
Yep.
Giants 20 something in the run game. What did they do? Run. They ran the football. I think they came out of that game with 200 and something rushing yards, 260 something rushing yards. 260 something rushing yards in that game. Hurts only had 100 and something passing yards. AJ Brown didn't have an impact in that game. So did the Devontae Smith. The impact was the run game. And you know what that is? Winning in the trenches. The offensive line dominated. Lane Johnson came back. They did their thing. Jason Kelsey was dominant again in the run game again at the age of 34.
So you see, you guys had 268 rushing yards compared to 118, 148 yards passing combined to 109, so 416 yards compared to
Mm-hmm.
227. Time of possession 35 minutes compared to 24 minutes. The total number of plays 69 plays to 52 minutes. You guys control the clock. Was able to run. Daniel Jones was 15 for 27, 135 yards, one touchdown, was sacked 5 times. Saquon, 9 rushes, 61 yards for a Giants team. He has to touch the ball at least 20 times to win.
20 times, yeah.
That couldn't work. Daniel Jones was 6 rushes, 24 yards. Breeder, 4 rushes, 23 yards. And then you had Richard James got 10 targets, 7 catches, 51 yards. Saquon got 3 targets, and then everybody else got 1 target, Well, they got 3 and 4, but only 1 catch. So Richard James had 7 receptions, 51 yards. Saquon had 2 receptions, 21 yards, and everybody else had 1 catch. Cause he only completed 15. If you look
Mm-hmm.
at Jalen Hurts, 16 for 24, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't have to do much. Kenneth Gainwell had 12 rushes,
112
112
yards.
yards. Miles
Miles
Sanders
had
17
17,
rushes, 90
19.
yards. Jalen Hurts 9 rushes, 34 yards, and Boston Scott 6 rushes, 32 yards. Then your playmakers did it. Devontae Smith 6 receptions, 61 yards. Dodard 5 receptions, 58 yards. AJ Brown 3 receptions, 22 yards. So a balanced
Well balanced game.
game on Philly's side.
Well
And like I
balanced
say,
game.
the more you can run the ball and run it effectively, you don't have to do much through the air.
Hmm.
It just gets easier through the air. And like I said, to me, right now, the Giants are about 2 steps behind the Eagles in terms of where they want to be. And I think probably Brian Dable know that too.
He knows that. He knows that.
He know he
He
came
knows
in
that.
this year. He tried to
Mm.
squeeze as much as he got out of him. He squeezed a 10-7 team, which was pretty good.
Did a
He
great job.
he
Did an awesome
squeezed
job.
he squeezed a playoff victory. You can't hang your hat on that. If he could get there from a team that he doesn't have his fingerprints on yet, just imagine what this offseason is
Right.
gonna bring.
And that's gonna be scary.
Yeah,
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough division next year because he will get the players that he wants in his system. And the Philadelphia Eagles aren't going anywhere. And you know the Cowboys aren't going anywhere.
yep.
It's gonna be a tough division.
The Giants are right there, and probably if the Commanders fix their
The
quarterback
quarterback
issue,
position, right?
they were once in it. They were 7-7 and competing for a playoff spot.
Right, exactly.
So anything can happen, and it's a bright future in the NFC East. But congrats to Philly. They are awaiting the winner of San Fran and Dallas. Right now is
Hmm.
9-6 halftime compared for San Fran. Dizzle, what are your thoughts on that game so far?
As expected, like we said before, Ollie, in the show on Saturday, a lot of us, I mean, both of us said that it was gonna be a game down to the wire, and probably we probably would have seen San Fran pull away in the fourth quarter. But the defenses are playing great. Dan Campbell is calling some great defensive plays, showing a lot of things, showing a lot of blitzing at the right time, shifting the coverage. You see, Mika Parsons is making an impact. But Dak has to sometimes understand where to go with the football.
Yeah,
A little too erratic sometimes. Sometimes you can't be making you throw two. Well, he threw 2 interceptions in this game
yeah.
already in the first half. You can't be doing that. That's not winning football. And
And
right now,
two of them
it
cost
right
two of them cost them 6 points.
points. Right, exactly. Instead of you being up probably 14, 21 points, you don't 3 points.
Hmm.
You're behind the numbers right now, and now you're trying to you're looking to get ahead.
Well, remember what I said earlier. I like what San Fran has done. I like Paul there as a quarterback in the future going forward. But he hasn't faced a defense like this yet.
Like this.
This defense is generating pressure. The linebackers are playing well, and then the cornerbacks are holding their own. And as you can see, it's 9-6. But this is a game that we expected. These are two powerhouse defenses,
Right.
and the offenses are good. They can explode at any time, but they are efficient offenses. But this game comes down to the strength on that defense, who holds up. And right now they're
Hmm.
holding up pretty good. Unfortunately, Dak gave those 2 turnovers. I think that's the difference in the game
That's a
now,
difference,
because
right?
if Dak,
Exactly.
the first pick was on Dallas territory, so San Fran kicked the field goal, and then the second pick, San Fran got a field goal as time expired. So what you got to see, what you see from all of this is that Dak got to understand that if it's not there, don't force it.
Don't force it. Exactly.
Your defense is keeping you in the game. And but I think with this, like, it comes down to who's gonna run this ball effectively coming down, because you can't end up going in a for these two teams, you can't just end up going in a pass.
True.
They have these both teams had fearless pass rushers. So it is who can ease the load for the quarterback by opening up the lanes and running the ball effectively. Because I
Agreed.
think that slows down the pass rush. So probably those quick screens sometimes and all the dunks to get about 4 or 5 yards. You don't want yourself in third and long. You don't want Micah Parsons coming at you on third line. You don't want Bosa
No
coming at
Bosa
you on
coming at
third
you.
line. So, did I expect this game to go like this? I did, because as much as I like Porter, this is a attacking and aggressive defense that Dan Quinn has, and it's a bigger test for Porter. I knew it was gonna be a bigger test,
For Porter.
so yeah, I expected it, and right now we are continuing to see a very very hard fought game, and uh, we're gonna see who's gonna be facing Philly, because on Tuesday, if it is San Fran, I'm coming on introducing the show, and I'm not saying another word for the rest of the day, because I'll listen to you and Shane talk about that.
But you know, I'm gonna take over the show and tell you how we would dominate either team.
Well, I mean,
I'll give my strengths and weaknesses. And if we get Avante Maddox back, if we have Maddox back on Sunday, I don't see this team losing. I don't see this team losing. If we get Avante Maddox back, we have Chauncey Gardner Johnson back. If we get Avante Maddox back, there's a lot more that this team could do on defense. There's a lot more. And
yeah,
I don't see this team losing.
you know, it's so crazy. If Dallas pulled this off, the first two games that you guys played, the first game Dallas didn't have Dak. The second game,
Right.
you didn't
It
have
had Jalen
Hurts.
Hurts. Right,
So that
exactly.
game, none of the games you guys play
Right,
had the
exactly.
full team, the
We're at full
full
strengths. Right,
team,
exactly. Right.
and that's so crazy.
And we would love to see that matchup. Of course, I would love to see my team go against the 49ers right now. I would love to see that matchup. But there's something I'm gonna save for the show on Tuesday. I'm gonna save for the show on, if we play the 49ers, there's something I'm gonna save for the show on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna save for the show. But
Well, you know, I'll be
because playing in Philadelphia is a different animal. Flying 6 hours being on a 6 hour flight from San Fran to Philly after being in a hard fought game is gonna be a different animal.
I
It's
agree.
tough. It's tough playing in Philly. A lot of people will tell you, if you've never played in Philly before, it's gonna be tough.
Ooh,
So
San Fran just fumbled a punt. Who got it? I probably behind you. Who they say got it? You could say it. Who got it?
a punt, I probably behind.
Dallas just punt and San Fran fumbled a punt,
A first and goal.
and Dallas got it. Who got a ball now?
I hear
On your
watching Dallas
screen.
have first and goal.
So it done pass long
It
time
don't
and you
pass
ain't
them,
even
man.
see.
It don't pass them, man.
I behind. I remember I couple players behind. So
Yeah, Dallas have first and goal.
Ray McLeod fumbled a punt. That with Dallas pick it up. Dallas got it at like the 20-yard line, so they probably still have some plays and then a first and goal. But remember I behind, so that's a crucial turnovers. It plays a big part.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
right now, San Fran got San Fran got 2 turnovers on deck in the first quarter that led them to play, field position. Now Dallas just got 2 turnovers too.
Right.
So
Dallas right now got a chance to score.
exactly. So I mean,
So,
we're gonna see who wins, and then on Tuesday we'll definitely talk about it. But
there's another game we could talk about: Kansas City and Jacksonville.
I was just gonna ask you what you think about. What are your thoughts on that game?
Like you said before, you said it earlier before the playoffs started. You said that Jacksonville is a team up and coming. They're gonna show some stuff. They're gonna do a few things, but you don't we don't expect them to be competitive in some of these playoff games because they don't have the experience. You saw where Kansas City has the experience of how they were able to dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though Mahomes had an ankle injury. You saw the experience. You saw the oh shit, I must have picked. But you saw the experience. You saw the from Kansas City. You saw the factor of them having to be in the postseason year after year after year after year. So they understand. They understand down in distance how to game plan, how to play call, how to go about playing a game and stuff like that. You didn't see that from the Jacksonville Jaguars. There wasn't much intensity. It was just like we finally got in. We're here. Let's see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
But for with Kansas City, yeah, they already know. They already know what they have to do. We've been here before. We know what we can do. We know what we need to do, and they did that. You also saw where Doug and they really took got the advantage of Doug Peterson. It was a teacher against the pupil, and the teacher won that game. Same as for you saw how Steve Spagnuolo was able to bring pressure, fluster Trevor Lawrence, confuse him a little bit, make him make mistakes and stuff like that. As I've been saying all the time, you also got to have your defense marry your offense. Get the opposing team offense off the field. Bring your offense on the field that can score points. Simple. That's all Spags does, and that's all I wanted from Gannon. But you see how effective these Chiefs teams can be. They don't have great players on defense. Yes, you have your Chris Jones, you have your Justin Reed, but who else do you have? But they still create pressure on defense. You have Patrick Mahomes, you have Travis Kelce, but who else do they? Who else do they have? But Andy Reid still finds a way to be effective on offense. And one thing I tell him like Patrick Mahomes, regardless whether he's injured or not. And I know they said that he had an ankle injury. They say he looks. I mean, he was able to. He looks good today.
It's a high
He
ankle
probably
sprain.
play. Yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
probably play in this game. And who knows? He probably be effective too. Is that the type of talent
We'll
like
see
that?
about that. Usually a high ankle sprain, you 2 to 6 weeks, and it
I said
monitors between that.
I said Donovan McNabb threw 4 touchdowns on a broken ankle.
I mean,
So I mean,
he doesn't have to do too much.
right.
He just gives it to his playmaker. So
Exactly. And you know Andy Reid is gonna coach up something. He's gonna come up with a scheme to allow Patrick Mahomes, but he won't be the effective playmaker that he is, being able to run out of the pocket and do certain things and do whatever. But I think I think he's gonna play the game against the Bengals, and I think you're gonna see Patrick Mahomes be more of a pocket quarterback in this game.
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If Calvin Ridley comes back to the Calvin Ridley we know, Jacksonville going a lot further next year.
Jacksonville is gonna do a lot for it. I agree. I agree.
Not
I
no
agree.
offense, no offense to who they got. No, but Calvin
I
Ridley is
agree.
a difference maker.
A difference
And
maker. I
people
agree.
tend to forget that Calvin Ridley was dominating in
Hmm.
Atlanta before all these things happened.
I agree. I
So
agree.
if he comes back with Christian Cork, Etienne, Evan Ingram, and then you
And
got
Marvin Jones
C. Jones and Marvin Jones in the slot, jeez.
is gonna be crazy.
It was to me. It wasn't. They just needed the experience. To me, it wasn't to say like they didn't
Right.
perform well. They wasn't in that. They played a team that's accustomed of being there, and even when Mahomes went down, you can probably think that it would be a bad thing. Chad
What's
Henne
gonna
came
change?
in, and all he did was just find his playmakers and let them do the
Hmm.
job. That's a well coached team. 'Cause if I tell you Chad Henne is my backup and he comes into play, you gonna laugh at that.
Exactly.
He gotta be damn near close to 40. He can't beat me. Chad Henne come and just move the ball on the field. Nothing
Hmm.
big, just get a ball to Travis Kelsey had like 10 catches in the first half.
Hmm.
So it's so easy that those guys know how to do it. And one thing that we don't talk about that's very underrated is the job that Spagnola does
Yep.
on defense, because we would say that they got a trash defense. We don't know the players, but outside of Chris Jones and probably Justin Reed,
Justin Reed. That's it. Exactly.
I would tell you that that team sucks. But I mean, they got Frank Clark as well. But I know Nick Bolton is their linebacker, but I know him just because he was drafted not too long ago. Christian Watson, not Christian Watson. His last name is Watson. He's a rookie cornerback, but it's
Hmm.
not nothing that they should be doing that's been bullying. But some strange reason the defense always does the job, and they're just never talked about. And Spagnola doesn't get the credit, but they do what they have to do and they get the job done. And they did that against Jacksonville. Granted, Jacksonville didn't play bad. They were in the game for most of it, but you just saw a team that being in this position a lot compared to a team that just learned how to be in a position.
Right.
And I think Dougie P had a successful season in Jacksonville. That team has a lot of cap space and they will be moving on. They will be on a good momentum come next season. So we can look for bright things on there. But as for Kansas City and Cincinnati, I think the key for that game is going to be the health
The healthy
of
Patrick Mahomes.
of
Mm.
Mahomes.
But we
We
can
will
see
have.
Cincinnati. We can easily see Cincinnati winning that game. As I
I'll tell.
mean, as far as it goes, Patrick Mahomes hasn't beaten Joe Burrow.
And the thing about it is, we know since it started off sluggish,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of put them in the review mirror talking about Kansas City, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. Remember, Burrow was coming off the appendicitis.
Right.
Offensive line was injured, so they
Was
didn't
him
have no
with no
continuity.
cohesion. Right.
And they weren't playing that well to start the season, so we kind of lost them in the track because Baltimore was actually the better team at the first half.
Agreed.
No, the offensive line is starting to gel. Burrow has all weapons mixing, Hayden Horse, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase, and then give credit to their defensive coordinator for calling a great game against Buffalo.
That he
They
did.
knew what they had to do.
Mm-hmm.
They are not Buffalo's not a running team, will not commit to the run. So if you can contain Diggs and force other persons to beat you,
Right.
then more than likely we're gonna beat you. And that's what happened. So if would I be surprised that Cincy ends up in the
The Super
would I be
Bowl.
surprised since it ends up in the Super Bowl? No. That team is young. They've been in that
Young
situation
and
last
they're
year
stacked.
and they are hungry.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be a good AFC game. I can get well. Both games should be pretty good and pretty fun.
With the Dallas 49ers against the Eagles, it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
good matchup.
because this is gonna be
A great matchup.
it's a AFC rematch.
AFC Championship rematch
Rematch.
as of
So
last year, where Cincinnati won last year. But boy, that boy Joe Burrow is a bad boy.
yeah,
He's a bad boy. But you gotta give Zach Taylor some credit too.
I mean he doesn't get enough credit. I mean
Zach Taylor, yeah.
you can have the quarterback, yeah, but the quarterback and head coach have to jail. There's a
You
reason
gotta
and
marry.
the Reed and Mahomes jails. Just look, for instance, just look at Russell Wilson. He did well all the time in San Fran, but he and Nathaniel Hackett never jailed.
The Seahawks with the Seahawks.
I mean, with the Seahawks, yeah.
Yeah.
Now he went to Denver and he never jailed.
Mm-hmm.
Your quarterback have to jail. And right now, Zach Taylor and
Joe
Burrow are
Burrow.
just jailing. They handle their business. They go about their business. And I think Zach Taylor doesn't get the credit that he deserves. And we just gotta. That's another team that I think like the thing with that team is like that can be the Jaguars, but they're light years ahead of the Jaguars.
True.
That team reminds me of the Jaguars. Just that they're like they're like if we're going up steps, they're like on step 5 compared to the Jaguars. Just went through step
Because step
1.
two, step one, yeah.
I would say step kind of just made the playoffs. But the Jaguars reminds me of the Bengals with Trevor Lawrence and those playmakers. A young team, hungry. It's just that since they made it all the way to the Super Bowl last year, and they got a taste of what it is, and they ready for it again.
Right.
So I think with Cincy though, since it has some more veterans on defense compared to Jacksonville. Jacksonville defense is still young. Put some more veterans on it, and they'll be good.
Which is something
But
they should do in free agency.
yeah, I think they do need a little bit more veteran presence on the defense.
On
Offensive side,
defense.
that's fine. Our defensive side, they need. I know Olukan. He's not even a veteran. He came from Atlanta. He's not. I don't know who's the defensive captains on the defensive side. So they do need some veteran leadership. But Kansas City versus Cincy.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a good game that
Great
we'll
matchup
talk about. We'll talk about that probably on
on Tuesday
Saturday
or
and
Saturday.
Tuesday. But right now we're just kind of awaiting who wins the final game of the divisional round, and then on Tuesday we'll have our big debate, a big preview. We'll have our big preview when we go
What
into
a catch! You see it yet, but god damn.
nice seat. We'll have our big preview going in for Tuesday in our conference round. Will it be Philly versus San Fran or Philly versus Dallas? We'll wait and see. But I mean, other news around the NFL is pretty quiet. A lot of
Right.
offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators interviewing. You still got the five head coaching positions up. My Carolina Panthers, they postponed their meeting with Sean Payton on Friday due to Charlotte FC football player was tragically killed in a boating accident. 25-year-old
Tough
Anton
loss.
Wilkes.
Tough loss.
So they decided to spend some time with the family and the team and make sure everyone is good. But we had a virtual interview with Ken Darcy on Saturday, and then a virtual interview today with Mike Kafka, and then tomorrow I think we have Sean Payton, and then I think that's probably all the list. I think it's gonna be narrowing down after that, but I do believe that, in my eyes, I do hope that it is like I told you, Shane Steichen, because Shane Steichen can develop his quarterback.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be angry if it's oh,
Cause I
good
mean,
catch.
cause you we see we've seen I mean we've seen the job that he's done with Jalen Hurts.
And
He's done
that's
a
the thing.
phenomenal job.
And
I
like I
mean,
say, like I was telling you,
including for the offense because a lot of teams could have the offense that we have, but it's also putting it together.
but also too, he walked with before he came to Philly, he walked with Justin Hubbard.
Justin Hubbard, he did
So he has two quarterbacks
right
that he walked with,
exactly
and they've been
exactly.
excelling. And to have him there, and he can probably pick, like I said, I he doesn't have to start year one. But if we draft Anthony Richardson, it's a kind of a stronger, more physically elite
Jalen Hurts.
version of Jalen Hurts. Probably the
Mm-hmm.
only difference is Jalen Hurts
And
reads the game way
right
better because he's still young in his development. But if you
right
sit him for a year, have Sam Donald back on a 1 year deal, have Steichen work with Sam Donald for that year, and then unleash Anthony Richardson the next
the
year, I
next
think
year
we are
right.
in
Agreed.
a good position to go forward. Even if you feel comfortable starting Anthony Richardson year one and making sure that he is good by putting the offense around him to work on his strengths, then yeah. But my list is still Steichen, then Frank Wright, and then Steve Wills. But hopefully, I get some clarity this week coming up on what's going on with the Panthers head coach and such, because I still need to know what's going on.
Wait, what are you looking at? Look at that. Oh, what
So
it? Oh, what Dak looking at? T-White running wide open. That's a touchdown.
I don't know.
Oh, what the ass. You gonna see the
I
play.
s- I see
You gonna see a little bit. But T-White running wide open down the seam.
Dak
What
worried
the
about the
fuck is
pass
Dak
rush.
looking there?
Dak worried about the pass rush more than anything else.
Fuck that. How about the ass?
Let me see.
You gonna see the play when they try to see Lamb and the thing stop. But goddamn.
Let me see. I can see now. It was a thought down play, right?
Yeah.
Say coming up now. Let me see.
T.Y. Hilton wide open.
I gotta see though. So let me see.
T.Y. talking to him now. We're wide open. T.Y. was wide open.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Wide open. Wide open. That's a touchdown.
That's when he always zoned into one person.
Yeah. 1%. T.Y. wide
But
open.
my thing
That
is,
was a good play.
if you see Fred Warner move over to Ting side, just
Right.
try the other way.
Exactly.
Fred Warner playing
CD Lamb.
CD Lamb straight.
Right. Exactly. T.Y. Hilton wide open. You hit T, you throw that ball, you hit TY in stride. That's a touchdown. That's a touchdown. There's nobody in the middle of that field. There's nobody in the middle of that field. What the hell is Dak doing? This is where the great quarterbacks are elite. This is where the great quarterbacks make plays. This is where the great quarterbacks make their name in games like this.
Well, we'll see. But all right, I think that's probably it for us tonight, just breaking
Right.
on these games and talking. But we will be back on Tuesday, and that's when we're gonna get into these AFC and NFC Championship Series. We'll do a deep dive into Jizzle's team and whoever he's playing. Maybe it'll be Shane's for the Niners or Dallas, but we'll do a deep dive into those games on Tuesday, and we'll still give out our game bar, trash bags, everything. But
Yep.
that's it for tonight. We can we'll do some more. We'll get done with it on Tuesday, and hopefully we got some more NFL news. Or if the Panthers have any updates, I'll update it on Twitter, and we can continue to keep you guys updated on Philly, San Fran, and Carolina.
I don't think any teams right now got a head coaching favorite, right?
No, I think Arizona is still going through the process. Indianapolis still interviewing tons of people.
Right.
Denver kind of wants Sean Payton more than anyone else. Houston is still out there, but it's not. See, I think some of those, like D'Amico Ryans is holding up. I think a few of the teams because he canceled his interviews again to concentrate on the thing. Right. So I think the hold up is some of them are actually waiting. Like, so for instance, Texans like Gannon, they can't do nothing until Phil is officially out. So I think for Carolina's sake, if this keeps going on longer and longer and longer, it tells me that Carolina wants Steichen.
Mm-hmm.
If it ends up shorter, then they don't want Steichen. So I'll have to see how it goes this week. That can tell me if it's different. But no, the 5 openings, I think it's just that you have about 10 to 11 offensive coordinator positions open. That's a lot this year. That's unheard of for 10 offensive, because Greg Roman mutually parted ways. So Lamar's going to have a new offensive coordinator.
Right.
So it's crazy. It's going to be crazy like that to know that you have so much. So, but again, Tuesday, we'll be back on.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be ready to talk some football for the big NFC Championship game and AFC Championship game. And
we are ready in it, baby.
If it's Philly versus San Fran, like I said, guys, whoever's watching our show, get your popcorn ready because I'll be back eating my popcorn, listening to those two guys see why their teams are gonna go to the Super Bowl. Fortunately, I can't say anything, so all I can say is Steichen is my guy, so I'll see what happens. But let's see what happens. But until then, don't forget to like and subscribe the page. Keep up to date on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then you guys can always show your love by sending us a cash app. Island Boys Football Talk. So just keep updated with us, and we guys gonna keep you guys updated all the time, and just show your love by liking and subscribe to the page. So outside of that, we hope everyone had a good playoff weekend, and we'll watch the rest of it, and then we get ready for the championship weekend. AFC and NFC on Sunday, NFC first, and then AFC after. So outside of that, I think that's it from us.
Yep. So peace out, baby. Eagles Super Bowl.
People say to me, you did it. You got in the playoffs. You made it. So you think everything we put in this dang season was just to get in? Yeah, let's buckle up now. I'm not going to talk about how we got here. We came together, grew together, fought together. When you're in a championship fight, you think you win every round? Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. You don't. But I'm proud to stand in the ring with this group of guys every damn week. Do we get the credit we deserve? Who cares? If you're a Birds fan, you know exactly who we are.
Lawrence is passed by Hurts.
Don't get me wrong. Are we perfect? I think y'all know the answer to that. But we fight like hell. What did Coach say? We're nasty? Yeah, we are. That's us. We're nasty. I can dig that. So what'd you all come here for? You want me to get fired up, right? You want me to tell you why you should be fucking excited? Because it's the freaking playoffs. That's why. Is it the end of the fight? Hell no. Dog mentality, baby.
That's the team.
Next round. Press on.